and welcome to Pale Blue Pod, the astronomy podcast for people who are overwhelmed by the universe but still want to be its friend.
I'm Connie, a curious co-host.
And one of my best friends, like my bestie. I am Dr. Moiya McTier. I'm an astrophysicist, a folklorist, and also a bestie to the universe.
Indeed, indeed. This week, Moiya, I'm taking over just for a little bit because this episode is releasing during your birthday week. And I thought it would be a fun thing to celebrate your birthday and to have our listeners learn more about you, because you do so much more than this astronomy podcast. And I want to make sure people know about the things that you do. So I'm going to ask you about some different areas of your work. Ooh. But I want to start with how old are you turning and how do you feel about it?
I am turning 31. I feel great about it. I did not like being a child. I did not like being around other children. Even when I was like in elementary school, I was hanging out with like college professors. So I've always been at least in my 30s in my soul. And to like fully be here, you know, like 30 is, you know, like the introduction year. Are you can't, you're not in your 30s, you're 30. Yeah. I'm in my 30s and I love it.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of discussion lately about like your 30s and how they really are a beginning of your life, because if you really think about it, like up until you're 18, you don't really have a lot to do. Like you can't do a lot of things freely and of your own volition. And so when you get to your 20s, that's when you start to like explore and play around and, you know, figure out who you are. And in your 30s, you're much closer to that. There are obviously different levels of, you know, self-confidence and all that stuff. But I think that what I've heard a lot, even from people who are like doing whatever, like you don't have to be like successful in your 30s necessarily, but there is a success and a comfort in like beginning to know yourself and what you really want to do, and being able to, despite global and national phenomenon, you know, you still get to, there have been ways that a lot of us, as someone in her 30s, have still been finding themselves, whether career-wise, socially, self, it's like you're starting to figure out at least some areas of your life, even if not all of them, even when you may not have like all of the privileges in the world. So it's a nice age to really get to learn who you are. And as someone who knows who she is very strongly, I'm thrilled to see where you're going to go. I know you have lots of ambitions, and I think that if given the opportunity, you would do fantastic at them. So that's one reason why I want to share.
Thanks, bestie.
what else you're up to, because I think people should know, and tell more people about it.
Yay. Thank you. I do have a lot more to learn about myself. I know that I've learned a lot in the last year, but I'm looking forward to this next year. I think there are going to be some big events that really teach me a lot about myself. I just got a second cat.
Yeah.
Like quite literally 2 days ago. This is different. This is interesting. So yeah, there's a lot to learn.
Exactly. It's a new era. It's a new era.
Yeah.
I did see at the end of the year, a lot of people on like social media being like, I haven't seen the girl that's like stepping up onto the stairs that are like success and love and health and like all this stuff. Like people haven't been posting that because times have been dire.
We're just trying to survive.
We're just trying to survive. But I think you'll be up a couple of steps this year. So I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
Of course. So let's talk about some of the stuff you do. Here I am brushing up my interview skills from my past journalism career to learn more about you. So obviously you do Pale Blue Pod, a podcast about astronomy. Thank you all for listening. But you also have another podcast about space. It's not currently on, but ExoLore was a space podcast as well, right? But also world building.
Primarily world building.
Yeah.
The whole point of ExoLore was always that it was an intersection and never just astronomy and never just folklore. It would be like calling me gay or straight. Like, it's just not right. Like, it was a world building podcast. And I did call it ExoLore so that it would be, you know, about exoplanets and the folklore on them. And it did come from my studies of habitability on other planets. So yeah, that was really fun. That wasn't my first podcast ever, bestie.
Oh, no, just one of your other space podcasts.
Yes. Do you know what my first ever podcast was?
I don't.
I started it when I was in grad school, I think my second year, and I decided that I wanted to do science communication, like officially after I graduated. And so I started one with my then partner, and it was called So You Think You Can Science. And I think we got to like maybe 10 episodes. Maybe we got to a dozen, and that was it. Every episode was talking about a different aspect of the day in the life of an academic. Okay. So like one was about publishing culture. One was about how do you submit proposals for grants or something. Just teaching people what it was like to be in grad school. One was about finances.
Nice.
Because I was really mad about my taxes that year.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Mm-hmm. That's great. I didn't know about that. It makes so much sense based on like the title of it is really just like, this is Moiya. Like, like it's going to be a science show, but it's going to be funny, and it's going to be a little game showy, and it's going to be a little of everything. And I'm that's where the spark began. I love that. And now look at you.
Now look at me.
A professional podcaster. And of course other things, but podcasting is a job.
Oh my God. Let's spill the tea. Look.
Oh, for the birthday episode, we can spill that tea?
For the birthday episode, we can spill that tea.
Please spill that tea.
Over the last year, I met a man and exchanged phone numbers and started texting. Those were my first 3 mistakes. That already should have been the 3rd strike. But we started texting, and at one point, I guess I didn't text him back fast enough. So he told me that I really didn't have any excuse because podcasting isn't a job; it's just a hobby. So you like have the time to text me, is what he said.
And I'm just like, among several issues with that sentiment. You think I can just, even if podcasting is just my hobby, which it is for some people, even if it was just my hobby, I'm supposed to text you in the middle of doing my hobby?
Right. Like, sir, I don't owe you any sort of anything right now.
No. No. And someone who would respect you would respect that even if just a hobby, you're busy and you have to text them later.
Right. Exactly. No, that person was expeditiously blocked, just so everyone is aware.
Obviously. Okay, so again, you do so many things, and there is a lot of intersection in a lot of the things that you do. It has just been easier to divide it perhaps into wings. But another thing that you do in New York City is you go around and you give lectures. Tell us more about that.
Yes, I think for definitely over a year now, I've been doing a monthly lecture for Lectures on Tap, which I first saw on TikTok, and then I messaged them. The 2 founders are Felicia and Tyrone Freely, and they're lovely people. I reached out to them, and they were like, yeah, we absolutely want you to give a talk. And it's a fun opportunity to get time on stage talking about different topics, because I do a different topic each month. I've done the history and perception of time. I've done how do you build a fictional world. I've talked about my grad school research and the galactic habitable zone. Like, it really runs the gamut. It's so fun.
Yeah. It's always fun to hear what topic you're coming up with for the month. I feel like maybe it was June when the solstice was happening. You did like a thing. What was it about again?
Yeah, about the solstice and different solar gods.
Yes. And I was like, that is so cool. And if you've heard of Lectures on Tap, definitely look into it if you haven't. But they sell out real quick. So you need to be finger on the pulse if you want to check one out, especially with Dr. Moiya each month. So definitely look into that as a way to celebrate Moiya for her birthday this year.
Actually, there is a trick to it. If you follow me on Instagram, I get the ticket link a week in advance. And I will usually post it to my story and ask if anyone wants that, early ticket link.
Yeah. So make sure you're following Go Astro Mo, especially if you're here.
And ConStar 24. Like, I know this is my birthday episode, but like, follow ConStar 24.
I've seen a few people trickle in. I'm like, okay, it's been very nice. Dr. Moiya, you also have been doing something with the group SETI. Remind us what SETI is and what that thing is.
SETI is the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence Institute. If you've never heard of it, but you've seen the movie Contact, it's basically like that. Carl Sagan was heavily involved in its founding. So was Frank Drake. So was Jill Tarter, who is still alive and doing amazing research. But they don't just look for aliens. They study habitability and climate and environments in all sorts of astronomical contexts, which is really interesting. And I started working with them a couple years ago because I hosted their annual Drake Awards ceremony.
Yes.
Yes. And I got to dress up and go to this like fancy dinner banquet event and host, like MC an entire evening. And I did so well that they invited me back the second year. And then the third year, they asked me to be a regular host. So this year, they asked me to be a regular host for their SETI live events. They do a live stream every week on like YouTube, Twitch, all the streaming things. And I am a host every month. So I will interview a researcher or a team of researchers who published an interesting paper about their work.
I love that. That's so cool. And again, it kind of like goes back to your grad school research and about exoplanets and your interest in aliens. And it connects all the like stories of like you are able to like reference like movies and pop culture that like also connect to this story and like how it like what it really is like to look for. What are we calling them now? Extraterrestrial
intelligence.
Intelligence,
which is different
okay.
from extraterrestrial life. Like
okay.
SETI does a lot more research these days. But when it was founded, it was initially trying to make contact with alien species or detect intelligent civilizations, not like tiny little microbes. Yes, that would be exciting today. But when SETI was founded back in the 80s, I want to say, they were hoping to, actually talk to someone.
Right. So you've got 2 monthly engagements that you have. They're digital or in person. So if anyone was interested, you could check that out. And then another thing that our listeners probably know about you is that you obviously study mythology and folklore. And so I know that you have done a show before with PBS. So tell us about that show.
You're digging deep. I did a show. We did 3 seasons for PBS Digital Studios. It was called Fate and Fabled. My co-host, Dr. Emily Zarka, was a monster expert. And
that was her expertise. Okay, I didn't know that.
And separately and sometimes together, we would talk about folklore from around the world and how it connects to the modern day. Oh my God, so many things. We did an episode on like music and folklore, an episode on gender and folklore and how it's not always straightforward. I did an episode on trees. I did an episode on turtles because I just loved like turtles all the way down. All sorts of things. We did like 30 different episodes and they're all on YouTube still, like maybe about 10 minutes each. So check them out.
I love that. You also have been on TikTok doing a great series called Cosmythology. I think if you follow Go Astromo on TikTok, you'll find out a lot about some stuff we cover here on the podcast, planets, mostly moons. You started with moons because as I learned, there are over 400 moons in our solar system, and I did not realize that. So I thought, okay, there's like 100 of them. Like you'll have about 100 episodes of things to talk about. And no, there are so many more. Most of them named after Greek mythology or other mythologies and folklores. And I was just like, yes, this is the exact thing that I love and why I was like, wait, Dr. Moiya, she does space and mythology, 2 of my favorite things. I love that. And so now you're sharing that knowledge with people on TikTok and, we'll see where else it goes. But tell us about about Cosmythology, which I helped name because I'm very excited about that.
Because we were having one of our bestie calls. And
the bestie call where you kind of like try to figure out your life with your bestie in like 40 minutes.
Right. And then it turns into like
5
3 hours.
Yeah.
But yes. So every episode I talk about an object in space and a figure from mythology that share the same name. Connie's literally like mouthing along with me as I say that because that's how I start every video.
And that's how it works. As a social media professional, I will say that is what helps virality and the continuing of a series, because when you're used to what it is, it's like, oh, this is familiar, this is home. And if you look in the comments, a lot of people are like really excited about it. So
it's cute. I started posting on TikTok because it didn't feel like a real place, and now more people from like life are starting to find me there, and it's mortifying. But
says the public communicator.
Yeah, but I'm usually not communicating from my living room in pajamas. Like,
it's true. It's true.
Or if I am, it's only audio.
Yeah.
So this has been, I've had to get used to some different sensations.
Yeah.
Going along with this.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you can follow me there if you want, because I'm not posting it anywhere else. I refuse.
An exclusive TikTok series, folks.
Yes, actually.
But the big thing in Moiya's myth world is mothers of invention. Please tell us. I know we've like kind of talked about it a little bit on this podcast, and you've been talking about it on your social media channels, but please tell us about mothers of invention and when we should expect it on our bookshelves.
Thank you. As the person who has heard the most about mothers of invention during its gestation, like during its production, y'all, I cannot stress enough how integral Connie was to this writing experience. Like, every week I feel like I was calling her and crying, like, the muses don't make sense, and I don't know how to be the muse of lyrical poetry. Like, I don't know how to be emotional. I don't know how to do that. Like, she was just so helpful. So thank you.
You're welcome. Of course, bestie. I had to.
So the book is a history of different inventions. I cover 8 inventions. They are, I'm trying to do them in order: telescopes, spandex, jazz music, electricity, flight and airplanes, the media industry, birth control pills, and the internet.
You know, yeah. So I think anyone listening, if you are like, okay, what are some big inventions that I would be curious about the creation of? That's a good list. It's like things that still have effects on us today, regardless of when their invention was. And some of them may feel unconventional, like after you say, you know, astronomy, and then you're like, well, or the telescope and astronomy, and then it's like spandex. And that juxtaposition is so interesting. But from what I know of this book, from having been there as it was being forged, it talks about how all of these things are creative.
Oh, I can say, yeah. So the whole book, it talks about the inventions, but more importantly to me, it is a history of humans' relationship to creativity and imagination, and tracking what I see as a huge problem in our society right now, where we have en masse kind of lost value for creativity and expertise, because I lump the two together in the book. You can see how when you read it. And it is causing all of these problems where we can't really find good media. People who want to make art are having trouble doing it. We have this cult of personality and celebrity that just leads us astray in so many ways. People listen to musicians instead of doctors about medical things. Like, all of these problems that we have right now, I'm trying to point out in the book kind of where they came from. Mm-hmm. But in a fun, tongue-in-cheek way, because it's all written from the perspective of muses from Greek mythology who do care about humans more than the Milky Way did. At least most of them do. I'd say 7 of the 9 care about humans more than the Milky Way did. And for me, the most challenging part, aside from getting the history down, because I'm not a historian, was coming up with all of the voices for each muse. So, I think it's another way that Moiya gets to express her vast variety of interest and creativity. You mentioned earlier that you were like, oh, I don't know how to get into this muse's mind, but it was really great to see how in the end, like, you could find a little bit of yourself in each of them. And I know that like helped you to, you know, get into that voice, but there is a little bit of each muse within you. There's probably a little bit of each muse within any of us. And that's a really great thing. You know, on this podcast, we talk about one specific area of Moiya's research, but you have researched lots of things, and this book helps to pull some of those things together. And I think that's really cool. Thanks. Yeah, it was fun to learn about all of these different inventions. Obviously, the telescope one, like I knew a lot about that, but the spandex, like that was a surprise. I love crafting, and so I knew a little bit about needlework and textiles, but to dig into the history of where it started and how far back we've been weaving and spinning thread was really cool. I don't like jazz music, really, but I now have a much better appreciation for it, and I know that there are some artists that I actually do enjoy listening to.
You said that your Spotify Wrapped was very indicative of what you were writing
Yes.
throughout the year.
Yes, because when I was writing each muse, I would listen to different music to get into their mindset. So Euterpe, the muse of lyrical poetry, I listened to like all jazz, but that was more for research than to get into Euterpe's mindset, because I think Euterpe would listen to all types of music, actually. Polymnia listened to spy music. Cleo listened to classical, like she loved, Beethoven, she loved Mozart. Urania only listened to like white noise and like brown noise.
And when you read the book, you'll see how like these all play in. Because if you know anything about the muses, which I've now learned the muses' names, and I still forget them, but it's definitely been that's their names. Okay, great. I don't know if everyone else does, but you can learn more about them, and they're not really personified in the texts, right? Like each one has their subject, but like are there stories where they have personality and stuff, or did you make them up?
Oh, like in the myth text.
Yes, in the myth text. Yes,
there are some stories. We have this one story about how a mortal woman bragged that she could sing better than the muses, and I think it was Calliope especially that was like, "Oh hell no!" and then took all of her sisters to go and have a sing off with that mortal, and they obviously won. And then they turned the mortal into a bird or something.
That would make a great animated picture, actually, in the style, but only in the style of Hercules muses.
Yes, of course. There are very few stories like that. Most of what we get is just like a list of them and their domains of interest. And from there, I got to really build on top of a small scaffold. It was so fun because I didn't want it to be obvious. Right? Polymnia is the muse of sacred poetry. She's the one who I said listen to spy music, because in my head, she is not giving humans sacred poetry because she's a pious religious woman who loves the Greek gods. She's doing it because she loves power. And by getting humans to worship Zeus, she can curry favor with him and then gain her own power. And later on, she is the muse who inspires humans to invent electricity, because electricity is the power that is closest to what her father Zeus has, which is what she covets most of all, because she got the daddy issues.
And all of this will come out. When will we read this story?
It comes out August 18th of 2026.
Yeah.
And this stuff, there's so much backstory to the muses that I didn't get to include.
Yeah.
But there are, I tried to imbue the book with as much personality between them as possible. All of the muses are really mad at Polymnia because she started monotheism, which led to a whole bunch of stuff. So Erato, the muse of erotic poetry, just clam slams Polymnia for centuries because of it.
I think we're going to need the Moiya Muses extended universe, okay?
Okay.
You're going to have to work on that. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Speaking of universes, tell us what you do with world building. We talked about Exolore earlier, but I also know you have a little club.
I do have a little club. When I shut down Exolore last year, I didn't want to give up world building completely, and one of the listeners, who had also taken a world building class of mine, asked if I had a club where people could meet, and I was like, I will soon. And so now a group of us, there are maybe 15 of us, we meet every other week, and each week a different person will present something about their world and ask for feedback. They'll ask for specific questions to the group. And then we And it's just a nice little community of nerds. If any of you have a world that you are working on for a story, for a role-playing game, one person in the group is creating a picture book after this,
Ooh.
please reach out to me, goastromo@gmail.com.
Yeah, but you also have a workbook if folks would like to.
Bestie, you're so good at this. Yes.
Bestie, you made a chart, and I screenshot it and put it in my notes for this episode.
I love you so much. I also love that chart so much.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, I went through our photos, and I was like, where is that chart? This would be the perfect thing for me to do this.
Yeah, the workbook is for people who maybe don't want to meet with others, but want to have a systematic way of going through and organizing their world-building thoughts. It takes my process for building a fictional world the way nature does, starting with your intention for the world and getting yourself primed to make decisions, then going through the physical environment, the biology that evolves or adapts, within that physical environment, and then the culture of that biological life form. Because culture is a consequence of what you biologically need to do to survive and what resources your environment provides for you.
Right.
And that, there are places in there where you can put a map of your world, a major historical timeline. I have practice world building prompts for you and exercises to help you get into the process of cause and effect thinking that is really what helps you build a realistic world, even if it's a fantasy world. Things have to be internally consistent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's one of the, honestly, I think it's one of the core tenets. I don't know if it's a core tenet, but I think it's what fans look for when they're reading a world, and they want it, you can break rules of physics, but it has to be internally consistent. So if you don't do that, especially in live action things where, even animated, if the person making it is making an error in just how physics would work or how whatever would work, people notice that stuff and it becomes important. And it's nice when someone has put that much thought into it. They've built it from literally atoms up. So if you're interested, you can check it out on your website.
Yeah, it is on my website. You can buy it there, but in a digital format. And I am going to work with our merch company this year to also get it in a physical format, because I think that's something they can do.
Yeah, that would be great. So there are a couple more areas that I want to share with folks. Of all the things we've already talked about, we haven't even entered what you've done last year with That's a Lot.
That's a Lot is a 14-episode micro-comedy series I made with two of my other best friends, Carol Hartzell and Sean Crespo. I've been working on pitching a TV show with Carol and Sean since 2019.
Wow.
Originally, we pitched a late-night science comedy show with me as the host. Then
Guys,
we imagined...
wouldn't you love that? Wouldn't you love that? I just need you to, I don't know where... where are you guys, listeners, where are you guys watching stuff? Wherever you're watching that kind of thing, or if you're looking for that kind of thing, tell people. Because wouldn't that be so cool? Okay, anyway, go ahead.
The late night science comedy show was the first idea. Then we transitioned into a science sitcom where I am the science super of a New York City apartment building full of wacky tenants and even wackier amenities, a small Hadron Collider in our basement. And
it's bigger on the inside.
Yeah, the entire building is the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Each of these shows got pretty far. We pitched it, we had people who were interested in making it, and then because we're pretty sure we're cursed, creatively cursed, the first time we had a deal with PBS. They were going to make the late night science comedy show, then COVID hit. I know. For the second one with the science sitcom, we had meetings with multiple people, including Apple TV. The week of our meetings, the writer's strike started.
Oh, no.
And the industry has kind of crumbled.
Yeah, it's bad.
So Carol, Sean, and I decided to make our own thing. And we added our own money. We crowdfunded to shoot for 3 days on Governor's Island in New York, this script that Carol and Sean wrote, and then I helped edit. And it's about me and Sean being security guards at the last movie and TV studios in the Western Hemisphere. And just evil things happen because the studio is owned by private equity brothers who so they're like rounding up legacy actors for a forced breeding program, and like planes are falling down around us because we were writing it and shooting it during all the FAA stuff. And
Crazy.
it's just a reflection of the disgusting times we're in through a comedic lens, which hopefully lends some catharsis.
And also it's very prescient and very prophetic, because a few months later, Netflix bought Warner Brothers. And it was like, oh, is it happening? I think it's happening.
Yeah.
All of the like media mergers that have been, up in the air. It's just like, wow. Yeah, that's the through line of where the choices when you were writing it at the time, where they were going. And then it's like, yep, see, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Who could have predicted?
I think Carol and Sean might be prophets.
Yeah. So definitely check that out. You can find it on, I think, any social media platform, but particularly YouTube or TikTok, Instagram, any of your favorite sites should have it under its own handle, right?
Yeah, we are That's a Lot Show, and all 14 episodes are 2 minutes or under. So you can watch the entire first season in 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's quick, it's funny, and you'll laugh. It's great.
And I did acting.
Moiya did acting.
I mean, it was acting as myself, but
yes, you were just like a version of yourself in this apocalyptic world.
Yeah, but still, I was very nervous. And before we shot the first scene, which was actually in episode 2, that was we shot episode 2 first. I was about to cry before we started filming, and Sean didn't even know, but he like reached over and grabbed my shoulder and he was like, "You're gonna do so good, Moiya." And I was like, "Okay." and then the tears stopped and the camera started.
Yeah, and then Moiya, capital M, like stepped onto the stage.
Yes.
If you've ever seen Moiya give a lecture or talk, I think that, that has given you lots of great experience. So of course you were going to do great.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, bestie.
Of course. And then a big part of your last year and your upcoming year is your work with the Human Artistry Campaign. Tell us what that is.
The Human Artistry Campaign is a coalition of more than 200 creative organizations around the world. We're in more than 40 different countries. And it was started by the music industry, the Recording Association, but branched out to all creative industries. So writers, actors, photographers, even athletes, educators, all are part of the campaign. And the point of the campaign is to try and get collective weight behind a push for regulating generative AI. It's stealing from artists. It's endangering artists' careers. It's making terrible deepfakes of anyone, not just creatives. I don't understand why anyone in politics would want this technology that can create deepfakes just running rampant.
Yeah, it's been used by them against each other. And I think hopefully people start to motivate themselves to do something about that, at the very least.
At the very least. But we are doing things. So I love working with the campaign because so much of my other work is me talking into a microphone or like standing on stage for an hour. And I rarely get to see actual impact. But I feel like I'm making a positive difference with the campaign. Like I've gone to Capitol Hill. I've testified to like different senators and whatever about how generative AI is impacting not just the artist community, but our society. Like like Chat GPT and Midjourney and like all these other generative AI companies are ruining our ability to think. I feel like a lobster in a pot of boiling water. Like it's
I worry for our brains.
Yeah. And like you can talk about the environmental stuff. You can talk about the job replacement stuff. But and that is all very concerning. To me, it's our brains. I am both a scientist and a folklorist. I know historically how much it has taken for our whole community to be able to like have literacy. Like 100 years ago, 200 years ago or something, like I would not have been taught how to read. Yeah. That's literally how you control the masses, is by taking away their ability to think and learn. And we're doing that to ourselves.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Soapbox
So-
over.
So I know you'll be continuing to do work with them for this year. So I'm excited to see what comes from that.
Me too.
And yeah, this wraps up my Moiya interview for her birthday. I hope you learned a lot about our co-host. And yes, do you have something to add? I don't want to miss anything.
Yeah. Can I talk about some other things I do?
Oh, please.
I get to do a lot of fun artist collaborations.
Yes.
For the total solar eclipse in 2024, I helped design like a whole art exhibit
That
in
is
Erie,
so
Pennsylvania. Yeah, with this multimedia artist. His name is Alex Staley, but he goes by Lone Sav, and he's so talented. We world built 7 different goddesses based off of stellar characteristics, and then imagined like whole stories, and he animated it. It was beautiful. An ongoing project I'm doing with a theater director named Andrew Scoville is what we're calling the Space Plant Science game. It's a 3rd iteration of something we've done a couple times. We've tested it out a couple times before, but we want to create an immersive experience for families, multi-generational families, to come and learn about science through a story about alien contact, where an alien seed crashes onto Earth, and the people who do the experience act as scientists. There are astronomers who have to figure out where it came from. There are, because it's a seed like a plant, there are botanists who have to figure out what type of soil and water it needs to thrive here on Earth.
Yeah.
And that's really cool.
For people who've seen Arrival, I think that might be familiar because they had like the cross discipline scientists. I've only seen the first half of that movie because my Paramount Plus subscription ran out in the middle of it, but I'm gonna watch the second half.
Not in the middle of it.
Yes. I was like, I paused it. I'll get back to it. And then I was like, oh no, I don't have access anymore.
Wow.
So I got to finish that, but you've been pulling back on me, Bestie.
Yeah. I can't talk about everything. There's so much.
Yeah, you do so much.
Yeah, there's the world building consulting. If any of you have seen the Disney movie Wish or the Disney animated show Iwaju, I was a consultant on the world building for both of those.
Yes, I think you can see your name in the credits.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. I've consulted with like people on their personal world building projects too, which has been fun. I've worked with the International Society of Mythology and given talks for them.
Yeah. You've been on committees to help name planets?
Oh, I forgot about those. I never talked about it because I absolutely hated it, but for 2 years, I was the president of the board of a nonprofit called Astronomers Without Borders. If this is the first you're hearing about it, it's because I didn't want anyone to know.
I didn't know you were going to go there.
I have some like committee experience. I've been on the committee for the status of minorities in astronomy. So I've done some official things. I've helped plan conferences before. I'd be out here. I'd be doing stuff.
Yeah, it is the work of a science communicator. Honestly, this episode could have been like, what is it like being a science communicator? What does that mean? And that's what it means. It means Moiya has a little bit of a hand or a voice into many different areas. And they're so cool. Like, your career is so fascinating and unique, which is very lovely, especially because you are a person who is many things. You don't like to choose.
You're so right.
It's great and inspirational as someone who also has a lot of different interests and is finding ways to combine them all together. Yay. Okay.
I'm wondering if there's anything we missed.
It's hard to know.
It's hard to know. Truly.
Like D&D? Like, we haven't even gotten into, like, your hobbies.
Can we do, like, who you are as a person?
So, yeah, what do you like to do in your spare time? What little you have besides being a cat mom?
Mm-hmm. I play D&D, not as often as I'd like, but I do with some friends that I've met at Caveat, which is where I learned to like be a science communicator, essentially, in New York City.
Yeah, you've done shows there with different groups, right? I know you've talked about Fax Machine, but like Moiya's kind of a game show host.
Yes.
Like a science game show host sometimes, which I love. again, like all the cool things that like seem like cool jobs, like you have gotten a little bit of each of them. So I just need everyone to know so that you can combine them and just be like really famous.
Thank you. Also, so that everyone knows that they can do lots of weird stuff like this.
Exactly. You've been very intentional and purposeful about how you build your career. You know, I think as a science communicator, you have to be very specific in order to like be successful. And you've found your niche and the things that you're passionate about and have really been able to make a career out of it. And that is very inspirational. It's very cool. And hopefully anybody else listening can know that like it is possible. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes tears. Occasionally,
it has
a lot of times. Maybe for some
you have
people.
to be very comfortable with uncertainty, which is weird because I wouldn't consider myself a person who is comfortable with uncertainty. I'm just incredibly stubborn.
Yes, and persistent.
Yeah, and I think there might not be anything I know to be truer than the fact that I could not survive a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah, as someone working one, you would hate it with every cell in your being and also the ones around you. Like it would vibrate off of you. Like you'd start disturbing the particles around you because of how much you would hate it. So, and then you didn't want to really be in academia either, right?
Yeah, my mom is a college professor, so I was born into academia. She was getting her PhD when she had me.
Okay, yeah.
And from birth to 25, 26, that's a long time to be in academia. And I saw some stuff about the culture that I just really don't want to have to face every day. So I would rather deal with the stress of not knowing exactly where my next paycheck is going to come from.
Yeah. But when you're able to have intention and just like, again, patience and slowly building those connections, it doesn't mean you have to focus on one thing either. Like you can still have success and like explore different things in your life and in your career. Do you watch TV, Moiya? Like, do you like movies? Like, what else do you do?
I watch so much TV. I love reality shows. Love Island is the
Love
best.
Island is on. Moiya's schedule is completely different. And when she says to me, "Oh, Connie, my 2026 is booked," and I'm like, I already know that a portion of that is allocated to Love Island.
You're so right, because in the summer, my day goes, I wake up, I watch Love Island UK from the previous day, and then I go about my day, and at 9 p.m. sharp, I will be sitting down to watch Love Island USA. Sharp. Actually, I will be sitting down at 8:50 because sometimes they start it earlier.
And you're early to everything.
To everything.
Including the TV show on your own?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a whole screening event. I love it. So Love Island, any sort of like physical competition, any sort of baking or crafting competition show, I'm there.
Eurovision?
Yes, Eurovision. I host I don't always host, but I orchestrate a watch party with my friend group, including Carol and Sean, every year. And every year we have a betting pool. There's a complicated judging system, but for the last 2 years, I have won.
Yes.
Which was a total upset because one of the other people in the group literally he's a musician and he works in like music licensing. Like he knows all about music. And I beat him twice.
Moiya's also very competitive.
Yes. But only about things that I respect.
Fair. I won't bring up Scrabble, but...
I mean, you already did.
I did.
I love Scrabble. I was the Greene County Scrabble champion in my junior and senior years of high school.
Listen, that's big, okay? I don't know.
It's not
where else
big.
They have, listen,
it's
but
not
I know
big.
It's big. But I know it's big because you know why I know it's big? Because I know you. And I know that if you did any other Scrabble competition, you would also defeat them.
I love your faith in me, bestie. Thank you so much. It's just...
You be pulling out astro words and like...
Well, now. Maybe now.
Yes,
Bestie, when I was a senior, my winning Scrabble word, do you want to know what it was?
Of course I do.
Queef.
And that, folks, is Moiya McTier. Doctor.
Yeah, that's all you need to know.
Dr. Moiya McTier. Yeah. I think there's just something so intentional about you where every story I hear, it's like, that makes sense.
I've been
I can
like
connect
this.
that to some other stuff. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. You've just been the same. You've been very consistent with your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Green County, huh? Was that a kerfuffle at all? Or were they like, well, it's a word. It's a word. And we are just very, respectful of the written word. It doesn't matter if it's maybe naughty for a 17-year-old.
I think the other person went to challenge it, and then I did kind of have an intimidation tactic going where a couple times before they had challenged something and I was right. And so they went to challenge it and I was like, are you sure? You want to do that?
Moiya's incredibly stubborn, as she mentioned earlier.
Stubborn and competitive. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
And loyal.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely.
Excellent.
Yeah. Your home is very cozy.
Thank you. People are always surprised by that when they come into my home. I think they expect it to be more sterile and minimalist than it is.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I love color.
And you have lots of plants. What else, Bestie? Is there anything else that you'd like to share? Well, the spotlight is on you and not Mars or...
I like crafting. Mm-hmm. I make really good pies.
Oh my gosh, yes! It could be fruit pie, pot pie, all the pies.
Hand pie? I make a great hand pie. I once made a hand meat pie in the shape of a donut. all with crust from scratch, by the way.
Yes, from scratch. I've been the glorious recipient of Moiya's now signature cranberry oatmeal cookies. Mm-hmm. And chef's kiss.
I smell poop.
Oh, no. Okay, we can wrap this up then. You've got to deal with your children now.
Yes.
Your feline children.
There's some sibling rivalry I need to split apart. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they're not going to be brothers. Maybe they'll be boyfriends. We'll see. This could be a heated rivalry situation.
Right. But is there an age gap?
Yeah, but I like to think that it's like the age gap between a mortal and a fae. It's a lot, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Love you, bestie. I hope our listeners learn so much more about you, and I hope they follow you to whatever interests them. Again, Moiya, you do so many different things that whatever your interest is, you could probably find a project of Moiya's you might be interested in. So please check out what she's up to, because it's her birthday. And if you want to financially contribute, you can donate to our Patreon, patreon.com/PaleBluePod. So feel free to give a little something for Moiya's birthday. She'll be 31, if that's an inspirational number for you. And
we do also have a PayPal. So
yes.
You can do a one-time.
Absolutely. So thank you for listening. I wanted to take over and really shout out my bestie because I know she gives us such great space information here, but she is knowledgeable about so many other things. And so support my bestie.
I'm going to cry. You're too sweet. Thank you. I love my birthday so much. This has been really nice.
Good. That was part of the goal. And now I have to go and mail your present.
Okay. And if it takes a while, no worries. It takes me forever to mail things.
Yeah. It's gotten closer and closer to the door so that I can get it out the door.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good system. Okay.
Any last words on your birthday?
Eat the sun, the moon is for the people, and all clocks are bad.
Remember, you are space.
Bye.
Pale Blue Pod is hosted by Dr. Moiya McTier and Connie Gibbs. Moiya created the show with the funny and talented Karine Caputo with help from the Multitude Productions team.
Our theme music is by Evan Johnston, our cover art by Shay McMullen, and our audio editing is handled by the superlative Misha Stanton.
Stay in touch with us and the universe by following @PaleBluePod on Instagram or check out our website, palebluepod.com.
I, Moiya, am Go Astro Mo on all socials.
And I'm @ConStar24 on Instagram.
If you want to support our show, join our community at patreon.com/palebluepod or send this episode to your family and friends group chats.
We're a member of Multitude, an independent podcast collective and production studio. If you like Pale Blue Pod, you will love the other shows that live on our website at multitude.productions.
Thanks for listening to Pale Blue Pod. We'll be back next week.